Hey everyone, my name is Solomon. You might remember me as Gosh back from my music and touring days. Welcome to the Art of the Gent. Now, your first thing you're probably wondering is, what is the Art of the Gent? I sometimes think it's easier to talk about what it is not before we get into what I would define it as. So, the Art of the Gent is not a pickup artistry class. That's a weird question that I've gotten a lot more than I care to admit, but it has nothing to do with pickup artistry because there's a lot of what I teach here is essentially authenticity and character. So it's not a how to on picking up members of whichever gender that you're interested in. Also, it's not a how to be the most alpha bro dude out there. There's a lot of toxicity there already as far as masculine expression, and a lot of what I teach here disengages that from the more toxic traits. So, what do I think a gent is? A gent is a person on a journey of self improvement and mastery that manifests itself in an external expression of style. So, what does that mean? It's not obviously the clothing and the appearance is important. There are a lot of underlying philosophies as to why you want to appear a certain way and what your appearance says about you. I try to teach essentially how to be the most interesting person in the room. There's a philosophy that my father taught me growing up, which is the I eats first. You want to be, you want to curate and be intentional with that first impression that you make, and with that intentionality, that circumvents a lot of conversation that you may run into that is unnecessary. With how I look and with how I teach my clients to look, you circumvent people doubting who you are and your ability and professionalism. Nobody questions me on my abilities, and regardless of what consultative capacity they have me in, nobody doubts my ability because of just my appearance. They look at me and say, "Well, this person looks intentionally put together. I think I can be comfortable with acknowledging that they are professional in whatever capacity they're telling me." So that's a big component of what I teach. You are curating your external expression to more accurately reflect who and what you are inside. So I was lucky growing up that I had a lot of positive role models in those capacities as far as what to do, how to look, and what's important. My grandfather was an ambassador, and all the pictures, although they're black and white, all his pictures, he's always in a suit, he's talking with kings, prime ministers, presidents, and there's just a aura of this is an interesting person. So I've taught people in something as basic as startup companies, and they were wanting to expand into being able to ask for investments, and I've also helped shape up investment firms, a lot of IT companies, and then on the personal side of things, like I was mentioning, people that are in business for themselves, wanting to be taken more seriously, wanting to take on a promotion. They could be transitioning in some sort of social capacity into or out of relationships, and they want to get back into being social, or they want to improve themselves for a partner of theirs, things like that. I'm lucky that I have a partner that is aware of how I look, and I get positive feedback when I do take care of how I look. Which brings me to another point. Even I had a period of time during this coronavirus pandemic early on where there was a couple months where I literally thought, who cares? Who's going to see me? And I did the gray sweatpants and tank top thing for probably 6 weeks until it was brought to my attention that, well, I didn't look very good. So that is another thing we'll get into as time goes on, that I'm even careful of now. Even when I go to the gym, I don't leave my house in my gym clothes. I usually, I don't know if I'll dress up to this extent, but I'm dressed in a way that I'm comfortable being seen. And that's another thing that you'll learn and that I will teach is you don't know who sees you or who you're running into. You want to maintain that that essentially physical resume that you give out to the world at all times. I've run into clients, I've run into potential business partners at some of the most random places. I've ran into them at Costco, I've ran into them at gas stations, I've run into some at the gym, but nobody's expecting you to be in a tie at that point. So there is, like I was mentioning, there is a physicality component involved in it, but there's also a lot of underlying philosophy and thought process and intentionality, and that gets missed out a lot on. And I've made many mistakes over the years until I started learning that this was a lifestyle that you're committing to, not just fads. What's the expression? Fads come and go, but style is forever, and whatever your style is will help bring it out, as long as it's intentional and as long as it's within what you're wanting to put out in the world. So I encourage you to go to my website, theartofthegent.com. I'll also put in the link area, or sorry, the descriptions area, the links to my other social media platforms. And hopefully next time you and I meet on video again, I'll have something a bit more interesting than what I've got here right now. But I really appreciate you guys visiting. I look forward to working with most of you. And until next time, stay classy, guys.